welcome back to the channel. I'm Ali and this is Lana, and today we're back on the Forth. I'm going to have some baits out mainly for flounder, but we might get some dab or whiting as well, and I've got a wee spinning rod with me to target some trout. The original plan was to fish from this little stretch of beach in between the bridge and the pier, but there was a lot more weed here than I remembered there being, so I headed along and got set up on the pier instead. Well, I've got one rod out already. I've just finished getting this one set up. I've got the same rig on both, and I'll put a link to how I tie this rig in the video description. I have forgot my bait elastic, which I usually like to use when I'm using mackerel, but I've got a few different coloured beads on, size 2.0 circle hooks, and usually when I have elastic I'll just hook it through once, but because I don't have elastic I've got it hooked through twice. And I like using a little strip of mackerel that's about the size of a small bait fish. I'm not casting far, just maybe 20 yards. I've got the other rod out a little bit further, but we'll see. We'll move them about every cast if we're not getting fish. With this 25 gram sand eel lure on, have a few wee casts. Oh, fish. Don't know what it is. Doesn't feel very big. That didn't take long at all. Oh, it's a little trout. Oh, I've lost it. I'm just fishing with little single hooks. Sea trout, when they're in salt water, their mouths are really soft, so it can be quite hard to land them. We got him almost in, quite unlucky. Hopefully we get another chance. I've moved further out along the pier. Try the bait somewhere new. That means I can have a cast on that side as well. There's less water on that side, so I couldn't fish at the spot we were at before over there. I mean, it's pretty shallow on both sides, but I think this is a few feet shallower on this side, which is fine because the trout will come into a couple of feet of water, and so will the flounder and things as well, especially when it's not totally clear, and it is a little bit murky today. The tide's just turning, so it's on its way in. So eventually we will have to move back up towards where we started off. Oh, getting a bite on the bait. bring this in quick. I've just seen the white rod twitching. There it goes again, it's very slight. Might just be a little whiting, or maybe crabs. That might have been crabs, I don't feel anything. Oh no, we've got a little fish. An absolute tiny little fish. That's the smallest whiting I've ever had. Tiny little whiting, it's about the size of the lure that I'm using on the other rod. Good to get the first fish though. Lana will be happy as well because she gets a pie when we get the first fish. There you go, buddy. Some fresh bait on, we'll just get it back out. Oh, I wasn't recording there, but we caught another little whiting on the white rod. There must be quite a lot of whiting down there just picking at them. That's why I quite like having elastic, because it stops the small fish destroying the baits. Well, surprise, surprise, it's another tiny whiting. I'm gonna run out of bait pretty fast if these whiting don't stop. Every 2 minutes they're just pecking at the baits. A trout has just jumped level with me on the other side. Hopefully we can tempt it. I don't know if you can see the ripple still there. I'm going to stay quite far back from the edge so I don't spook it. That's a fish. I've really slackened off the drag this time, just to try and avoid pulling a hook. I'll try and work my way down to where there's less distance to lift them up, and I'll need to wet my hands as well. This is bigger than the one we lost earlier. I really hope he's well hooked and we get to have a look at him. Oh, it's a bass! It's not a trout. The other one was definitely a trout though, because I did get a look at it as it came to the surface. That's so cool. Well, if we land this, this is going to be my first ever bass on a lure. Yes! There we go. Beauty. Get a shot with the bridge in the background. That's so nice. Beautiful fish. Well, I was speaking to one of my subscribers who recommended that I fish here. He says it's good for trout, and his mate got a bass as well. So, thanks Mark. It was him that told me to fish here, and it's got me my first ever bass on a lure. Just make sure both hands were wet. Bass aren't really as sensitive as trout, but you should always really wet your hands if you can. He's flaring out his gills, trying to cut me. Really sharp edges on their gills, as well as the dorsal fin. So be really careful handling bass. Quality though, superb. We'll get him back in. Away he goes. I definitely seen a trout jumping out there, so we'll keep casting out that side. I might freshen up the baits and then go back to spinning over there. Well, you definitely get a pie for that one, Lan. Yes! That was so good, getting the bass. I pity we lost that trout right at the start. I thought that was a big trout that we had on. I was actually pretty happy with it being a bass. As I said, it's my first ever one on a lure. I've still got that 25g sand eel on. I really like these lures. It's the first time I've used a 25g. I usually get the bigger size of those, but this seems to be working really well. I'm really surprised we've not had a flounder yet. It might just be that the whiting are just destroying the baits before the flounder have a chance to find them. I've still been getting loads of wee nibbles, but I've just been leaving the baits out and hoping that something bigger will pick it up. I just got this rod and reel this morning from the Edinburgh Angling Centre. I was just going to be bait fishing originally, but when I went in to pick up some bait, I thought I might as well get a rod to use some lures with, and I'm glad I did. Most of the action's been on the lures, and this was only like £30, or maybe £33, £34 for the rod and reel. So well worth it. I've probably just about got my money's worth out of it already, getting my first ever bass on a lure. The rain's on now, so I'm going to sort Lana out, get my jumper over her. She absolutely hates the rain, so we'll get her tucked in nice and cosy. Is that better? Eh? Is that better? You stay dry. I'm going to catch a big trout. I'll have another go on this side. boat went past a few minutes ago. I'm hoping that's not going to push all the way up to Lana. We might have to move further back soon. I think we'll get away with it that time, but if another one comes past in 10 minutes, it might be a problem. So I'll give it 5 minutes and then I'll move the stuff back up the pier a little bit. When we moved back up the pier, we got another couple of little whiting, but nothing else on the lures. And surprisingly, we didn't get any flounder this day. I really hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, here's a link to our last trip on the Firth of Forth, when we fished a little bit further along from here. We managed to land a couple of sea trout that day, and some flounder. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Cheers.